What's up guys, Houndish here, and today it is time for some Destiny 2 news. This has got to have been one of the busiest weeks for Destiny 2 inside of 2019 without a doubt. And so we're going to talk new exotics, Monte Carlo is returning, and we have some Kassoid Foundry exotics that we'll be seeing inside of the Shadowkeep DLC, and that's on top of the return of stats like Intellect, Discipline, and Strength. We do have that new armor system, as well as some D1 legendary weapons that appear to be returning. And we now know that D2 will be supported until at least Season 11 of the game, so we'll touch on all of that. But we're also going to talk about the Lumina or Rose exotic quest and the perks for the weapon, the Full Truth exotic quest which is launching next week, as well as some other quests and mystery items for upcoming Opulence content. And on top of this, Bungie talk about their plans for GuardianCon and some reveals throughout this year. So let's get into it. Just a couple of days ago we had the reveal for Year 3 in the future of Destiny 2, and that includes the Shadowkeep DLC. And one of the things I missed when I covered the reveal for that is that Monte Carlo is returning to the game. So when the three Guardians fly into the moon, we can see that the Titan is holding the auto rifle from Destiny 1. And of course the original version of this came with the Monte Carlo method, where dealing damage with this weapon reduces your melee cooldown and grants a chance to fully charge your melee ability with each kill. And it'll certainly be interesting to see how this thing performs in Destiny 2, as well as whether Bungie mix up the perks on the weapon, but we already know about other exotic stuff coming in September as well, so it would appear that we are getting some Kassoid Foundry exotics, and this is the Foundry that produced weapons like Telesto and the Invective from back in D1. But interestingly, the developers show what appears to be a no time to explain styled pulse rifle. So we can see it on the monitor right here, and the monitor above actually shows an in-game render of it. Of course, it does bear a resemblance to No Time to Explain, but on the developer's display, we can see that it features that Kassoid icon on the side. So I wonder whether that's going to be a new iteration of it, or whether it's simply a returning exotic, but there is another new exotic, and this is the hand cannon that they showed us with the high zoom scope on it. Once again though, we do see that Kassoid icon, so it appears we're getting a few different weapons from this Foundry. Perhaps we'll see more Foundry legendary weapons as well, but we do see Eris Morn's exotic weapon, or the weapon that she's decorating throughout the reveal trailer for Shadowkeep. It isn't always safe to assume that we're going to get a vendor's weapon that we can actually hold and use in the game. However, it's not very clear, but we do see a Titan in the Widow's Court screenshot from the trailer, who actually appears to be holding this hand cannon. So it looks like it will be something we can actually acquire, and Aurum Effects, who are building a bunch of different iconic weapon models from Destiny, will be over at GuardianCon this year, and on top of some classic Destiny weapons, there is a redacted exotic that they're going to reveal there as well, so it does indeed look like it's going to be the weapon that Eris is holding. And then separate to that, we learned about a new heavy bow and a trace rifle. And on the subject of potential Foundry weapons, we do see what appears to be the answering cord auto rifle from D1, and this is a Suros weapon, so maybe we're going to see more stuff return. Another thing that I missed on Thursday is that Intellect, Discipline, and Strength appear to be returning to the game. So where we can see this armor screenshot here, on the right-hand side, we can see Mobility, Resilience, and Recovery as always, but then also Intellect, Discipline, and Strength. And if you don't remember these stats from D1, they did roll out on armor pieces, and each stat decreased the cooldown of supers, grenades, and melee abilities respectively. We also see a new elemental energy stat there, so it's showing 8 arc energy and then multiple different mods in a row. So that's going to be pretty cool. And that's on top of the return of artifacts with a whole bunch of different kind of perks that we can use. So it definitely looks like armor, the perks and abilities associated with them are going to get a pretty major overhaul. The next thing I wanted to mention on the subject of upcoming content is that players can purchase the deluxe version of Shadowkeep with 4 season passes included, and these are for the seasons themselves in the game, but it does say season pass redeemed when logging in. If players already own the current season pass, they will receive credit toward future seasons up until season 11. Then any credits beyond season 11 will be exchanged for an equivalent value of silver. So just interesting to see really. We'll go all the way up to season 11, and I'm sure that we'll go beyond that as well. As Bungie said, they're talking about the next kind of 3 to 5 years. And I think with D2, with them launching a new content model, cross-save, and a new platform with Stadia, I'm sure at the very least that Bungie would want to support D2 for another couple of years. And so we'll see what happens with the content model beyond Shadowkeep, but those are just a few things I wanted to round up that we didn't touch on in my previous video. Now though, let's talk about more current content in the game. And the other day we spoke about the Lumina quest. We now have a few quest steps for that. I'll link that video below if you want to check it out. But we now have a look at the perks for the weapon. So these were data mined by Jinsa and shared by Funky Former on Reddit. But the perks read, kills with this weapon leave behind remnants. Absorbing a remnant converts your next hip-fired shot into an ally-seeking noble round and partially refills the magazine. On top of this, it says using a noble round on an ally heals them and grants both you and them a weapon damage bonus for a short time. So it is kind of like the opposite of Thorn, and that totally makes sense. It will leave those kind of remnants. You can pick them up in the same way that you can with the Thorn ones, but it will generate this ally-seeking noble round, which is definitely different and can be used to heal your teammates as well as offering a bonus for damage. So very interesting stuff, and I'd love to hear your thoughts about that. Before we get to the Rose exotic though, we do have the Truth exotic quest coming into the game, and this launches next week on June 11th, so that'll be at reset. But Bumble on Reddit shared the quest steps here, so it looks like we'll start out in Menagerie, and we're actually going to find a tattered note written in Awoken script. So it could be on a clear of Menagerie, it could be a secret that's hidden within there, but once we have the item, we'll need to take it to Petravenge in the Dreaming City. Following this, we need to complete one of Petra's weekly Ascendant Challenge bounties in Dreaming City, and it looks like we'll be picking up a kind of treasure map from the chest inside the Ascendant Challenge. However, the map won't actually be completed, so we'll need to jump into the Warden of Nothing strike while Ascendant and find the final hidden Ascendant chest. And the next step does say you emerge from the Prison of Elders with your new rocket launcher in hand, and according to this, once we have the weapon, so it sounds like it won't be a massive quest by the way, our ghost will receive a transmission from Werner on Nessus, and apparently the Emperor will be demanding an audience. So who knows what'll go on with that, but in terms of actually acquiring the weapon, it sounds like we'll need to complete kind of a few different activities. And then of course we get Truth with Prototype True Seeker. Of course the rockets have tracking, very aggressive tracking at that, but also we have grenades and horseshoes which allows the projectiles to detonate when they're in close proximity of targets. So should be pretty cool, and I'm sure we'll be seeing plenty of that one in PvP moving forward. On top of this, we did actually spot a new ornament for this season for the Truth as well, and this was in the Shadowkeep Vidoc. So I'll keep you posted on that one on Tuesday, but let us know any thoughts about it. There are a few other mysteries and things coming up. There's some strange quests and items in the database, so we have Callus's Treasure. I don't believe this is one that we've done yet, but also an unknown item called Lost Treasure. And others have reported tribute drops from Hidden Triumphs, so Curtis on Reddit shared this Ikora tribute drop. Seems to be a bug because when they actually drop, they simply disappear. And I believe that's because they're actually linked to the tribute hall on the roadmap, so they're not supposed to be dropping yet, but we can certainly expect some interesting stuff to be going on when this becomes available on July 9th. And that's outside of Moments of Triumph and Solstice of Heroes and all of that good stuff. So Opulence in itself should be a pretty busy season. There are a couple of other potentially useful bits of information that Bungie covered in this week of Bungie, and that kind of flew under the radar with all of the reveals for Shadowkeep, but they did post a known issues list, so that includes the Crown of Sorrow joining in progress issue, an issue with pools in the Crown of Sorrow raid, where players who step outside of a witch's blessing pool, as it is captured, can block certain encounters from starting, issues where players are blocked from respawning in Menagerie, problems with the Allegiance quest, Ikora and Drifter beacons, as well as the Machine Gun Reserves perk, which doesn't appear to be available on some of the armor pieces that it should be on. On top of this, a problem with the Sturm Accomplice perk, and some other stuff related to Eververse. There has been some mixed feedback about the new Pursuits tab, and while Bungie don't touch on that directly, they do point out that there are some filters to give quests only and bounty only views, and this allows you to separate limited time pursuits from long-term pursuits, which definitely can be useful with the new Pursuits tab. But yeah, some players prefer it back in the old inventory tab where it was before, and there are also complaints about the layout. It does seem a little bit more kind of visually noisy than what we had previously, so let us know your thoughts on that below. Finally though, Bungie outlined some of their GuardianCon plans for this year, and that includes the Big Show is going to be hosting the award ceremony for the World First completion, and that's for the Crown of Sorrow one that we've just had. On top of this, we'll have an audience with Eris Morn, and of course she is returning for Shadowkeep, so Morla, the actor who plays Eris, is going to be down at GuardianCon as well, which is really cool. Those Aurum Effects replica weapons will be present, and also Bungie are doing a ride-along live, and it looks like they'll be talking about Zero Hour, as well as the Whisper mission. No further comment on any stuff about upcoming DLC and stuff, but regardless, there'll be a lot happening at GuardianCon, and I'll link Bungie's blog post below with further details about that. But for today, guys, that is going to summarize the video. So it has been a very busy week. I'll link my other Shadowkeep videos below, and also some of my recent Opulence content. We've now figured out how to get most of the rewards from the Chalice of Opulence, and that includes weapons like the new IS Luna-styled hand cannon, so check that out if you want. But thank you so much for the support this week with all the new content, guys. I really appreciate you tuning in, showing up, and all of the engagement on the channel, and I'll do my best to keep putting out the best content possible. If you've enjoyed this video though, a rating is very much appreciated, and if you're new to the channel, be sure to hit subscribe if you want to see a lot more Destiny content. For now though, whatever you guys get up to, I hope you have an awesome day.